Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle, and this is another video in my Mystery Through History series. I love historical mystery. It's probably my favorite genre, and so I have started this series where I will focus on just different elements of historical mysteries. So I might be just recommending books, or I might talk about different eras of history, kind of whatever takes my fancy. And so for this video, I am going to share with you 5 books that feature the Bow Street Runners. The Bow Street Runners are an organization that was founded in 1749 by Henry Fielding and his brother Sir John Fielding. Sir Henry was the magistrate of Bow Street Court, and I'm going to put a picture in here for you. When I took a trip to London a number of years ago with my husband, and we made a point of visiting the Bow Street Court and the Bow Street Police Station. So I'm going to put a picture in here for you of the Bow Street Court. And also a slightly silly picture of myself in front of the Bow Street Police Station pretending to be a runner. Okay, so the Bow Street Runners were founded in 1749, and when they first started, there were 6 paid constables to patrol the streets of London. And this was the first professional police force. By 1800, there were 68 runners. And Henry's motto was, "Quick notice and sudden pursuit." Henry died in 1754, and John succeeded him. John was the chief magistrate of Bow Street Court for the next 26 years. Now, Sir John Fielding was very interesting as a magistrate. First of all, he was blind, but he did not let that stop him, and it is said that he could recognize the voice of over 3,000 criminals. Sir John, as he took over the Bow Street Runners, he expanded the organization. He's the first who chose to appeal to the public for information, and they did that by producing quarterlies that had information about stolen goods and descriptions of wanted criminals. So I find that very interesting as well. The Bow Street Runners ended in 1839, but they were actually replaced by the Metropolitan Police when they were created in 1829. So the Bow Street Runners as an organization I find very interesting, and it's a really interesting part of time in history. So the 5 books that I want to feature for you today that feature Bow Street Runners. The first is Murder in Grub Street by Bruce Alexander. This was published in 1995, and it's actually the second in the series. And I chose this one because I've already talked about the first in the series before. These are a Sir John Fielding mystery, so he's actually a main character in this series. But they definitely include Bow Street Runners. And in this book, a Grub Street printer, his family, and 2 apprentices are brutally murdered in their sleep. There's a locked building, and at the scene, a raving mad poet brandishes a bloody axe. Surely the culprit had been found, and justice would be swift and severe. But to Sir John Fielding, justice was more than finding a culprit. It was finding the truth. Aided by 13-year-old Jeremy Proctor, Fielding decided to investigate further, and the truth behind the apparently solved Grub Street massacre was more evil and more deadly than the dastardly crime itself. The next book is A Conspiracy of Poisons by J.G. Jeffries. Now, this one might be a little harder to find. It was published in 1977, but this is a very entertaining historical mystery that features the Bow Street Runners. It's the 4th book in a series of 8, and the main character is Jeremy Sturrock. He is a Bow Street Runner. The ace, apparently, of the Bow Street Runners, rollicking, resourceful, womanizing Jeremy Sturrock is back again, this time called on to investigate a Napoleonic plot that may threaten the safety of Britain. The year is 1804, and the trail leads from a beautiful, mysteriously poisoned prostitute to the grisly digging up of a still more mysterious corpse, back to the salons of a fashionable brothel, and on to a headlong ride to the wilds of Savernake Forest. In this bawdy, hilarious romp, with a solid background in history, Sturrock and his clerk Magsy more than live up to their fabled reputation for solving crimes. I've read this one quite a few years ago, but I do remember really enjoying it, and I think I'm due for a reread of this. And I'm keeping my eye out in book sales and bookstores because I would like to collect more from this series. And then we have The Thief Taker by T.F. Banks. This is the first in a duology. This was published in 2001, and it is called The Thief Taker, Memoirs of a Bow Street Runner. June 1815, when Henry Morton is called to the scene at Portman House in Claridge Square, the Bow Street constable finds a man dead in a hackney coach, ostensibly of asphyxiation. He was Halbert Glendenning, a gentleman of unsullied character. Then why was he seen frequenting one of London's most notorious dens of iniquity? And why has the driver of the coach vanished into the night? While Sir Nathaniel Connaught, the chief magistrate at number 4 Bow Street, accepts the official verdict of accidental death, Morton is certain that Glendenning was a victim of foul play. With the help of actress Arabella Malibranche, one of London's most celebrated beauties, he embarks on his own discreet inquiry, and as the upper circles of London society close ranks against him, Morton races to unmask a killer whose motives are as complex and unfathomable as the passions that rule the human heart. I really enjoyed this book as well as the other one in the series. I believe it's called The Emperor's Assassin. And then we have Death in the Dark Walk by Deryn Lake. This is another book that's a little bit older, and hopefully you can find it because this is a reprint. It was out of print for a number of years and it's been reprinted. But this is another series that I quite enjoy. This one was originally published in 1994, and it's the first in a series of 16. These are John Rawlings' mysteries. A richly atmospheric and compelling Georgian mystery woven around the real characters John Fielding, a phenomenal sightless magistrate known as the Blind Beak, whose runners formed London's early police force, and John Rawlings, the apothecary, reputed to have invented soda water. Having just finished his indentures, Rawlings is celebrating in Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens when he trips over the body of a young girl. Summoned to the magistrate's office as prime suspect, Rawlings not only clears his own name, but impresses Fielding so much with his power of recollection that he's asked to investigate the crime. From gaming hell to fashionable house, Rawlings follows a trail of lustful liaisons and illicit intrigue, which prove beyond a shadow of doubt that the girl has had quite a past with threatening secrets. So this is Death in the Dark Walk by Deryn Lake. And then finally, Ratcatcher by James McGee. This came out in 2006, and it's the first in a series of 6. This one has a great subtitle. You don't send a gentleman to catch vermin, you send Hawkwood. So this has a slightly different feel. This is maybe a little grittier. I have not read this one yet. Hunting down highwaymen was not the usual preserve of a Bow Street runner. As the most resourceful of this elite band of investigators, Matthew Hawkwood was surprised to be assigned the case, even if it did involve the murder and mutilation of a naval courier. Soon Hawkwood finds himself pursuing a trail that leads him from the squalor of St. Giles' Rookery, London's notorious den of thieves and cutthroats, to the brightly lit salons of the aristocracy and the heart of the British government. But it is only with the discovery of a corpse on the banks of the Thames that the true agenda behind the robbery begins to emerge, and a dark conspiracy is revealed. Napoleon's agents are preparing to launch an assassination attempt, and only Hawkwood can stop them. So this is Ratcatcher by James McGee. So these are 5 books that feature Bow Street runners. Let me see if I can make a nice little pile here for you. So yeah, I can recommend these. I haven't read Ratcatcher yet, but it sounds very interesting. But the other 4 I can recommend. I've totally read them. Have you read any of these books? Have you read any books that feature Bow Street runners? I'd love to hear about that in the comment section down below. And I will see you for another video soon. Bye!